KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
No, I thought we just got to
We're in
spring.
spring, right? Yeah, okay.
It's like 75 degrees outside.
And last night was freezing. We're both wearing jackets.
Yeah. So it like dips. I think I checked with Alexa today. It says it's going to dip to like 50s tonight. So
Let's talk about Alexa. I think she's getting old and senile. You ask her
Yes.
questions and she talks back to you, but not answering your question.
or something unrelated
Right.
in the wrong city.
Yeah, we've done that before. So
And I think, you know, who is listening in?
Siri,
Yeah.
you think
She's always answering me, and I'm not even talking to her. Seriously, I'm talking to other people
Hey,
about
Siri.
something, and all of a sudden, it was just like answering me about different things.
Hi Siri, how are you? Oh, it says, "Hi there, I'm pretty good, thanks." That's what
Your
she just
phone's
said.
on mute.
I know. Oh, well. There goes the whole bit. So, anyway, we have a fun show today. For those of you who are either trying to watch your weight, who are diabetic, or if you have heart problems, we've got some. We're going to be talking about dining out with various issues, and a diabetic diet is a heart healthy diet. So we'll be talking about that. A lot of different things. Questions to ask your staff. Talking about American food, Chinese food. What else? Italian food and Mexican food. So a lot of good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have a guest coming on. Izzy would be very interested in this one. He's a fitness trainer for dogs, therapy trainer for dogs, and he had his own show on I think National Geographic or Animal Planet, I guess it was. And he's going to talk about finding food. What to pick. What kind of food do you pick for dogs? I know you're a little more educated than I am on this, but there's so much to choose from. You really don't know. But anyway, this weekend, that's our show today. But we did go to two restaurants this weekend and had a great time. One was called the Hometown Restaurant. It's located at 5394 Walnut Avenue in Irvine. Now, this one little section there, Izzy's very acquainted with it. It's got every Asian cuisine possible in like two little centers there. And now you haven't been to this restaurant, but you've been to the center before, right?
Yeah, I have many times because I used to work in South Orange County quite a bit. And, you know, on the way back, it's always some sort of traffic. So, you know, I try to kill time so I can wait till the traffic dies down. So it's always a good little spot on the way, you know, before I hit the traffic to just get out, stretch my legs, kill some time, you know, get a meal, get my lunch. Usually I don't eat lunch, so that's my one meal.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I head out. So, you know, that's pretty much, it's very convenient. It's just one little center. Pretty much has a grocery store, bakery, you know, a little bit of everything. The different types of cuisine.
They have Japanese food, shabu-shabu. They have all kinds of stuff. But they
Yeah.
also have Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a small little restaurant. It's very, we didn't count how many people, but maybe 40 at the most. And but it goes pretty quick. Everything's made fresh to order. Very, very nice owners, very nice people. We were the only non-Asians in the restaurant, so you know it had to be good. And we were very, very surprised. Most everything is anywhere from $10 to $14, I think, and just delicious food. And so why don't we could talk about one it was pan-fried noodles, but it had shrimp, calamari, and scallops in it, as well as green pepper. And that was really, really good, very surprising, especially with scallops. You don't find big scallops in it, but this one had that in
Well,
it.
especially in noodles. I think they kind of like skip over the ingredients. They give you a lot of noodles, which is a good filler, and maybe little pieces of something in it. And then, you know, you miss all the goodies, you know. And actually, they have these wonderful, you know, big pieces of like shrimp. There's plenty of shrimp, plenty of scallops. It's nicely made, not overcooked. And it's not really thick noodles, so it's not gummy. And it's almost like a spaghetti kind of consistency. So it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised.
Yeah, we had two other friends, and they loved it too. So.
And the restaurant's called Hometown Restaurant. Hometown Restaurant.
Not to be confused with Hometown Buffet.
Yep.
Nothing even close to that.
Mm-hmm.
The next dish we had was an eggplant dish, and you want to talk about that a little bit, Izzy?
You want to elaborate?
Large pieces of eggplant cut up. It was Japanese eggplant, and it was sautéed with I think it had mushrooms in it, and bell peppers, green peppers, red peppers, and what else?
Onions.
And onions. And that was very,
Green
very
onions
good.
and regular
A
onions.
lot of people don't like eggplant, but this is the kind of eggplant that you want. This isn't bitter. Either Japanese or Chinese eggplant, the long, skinny one, those are the best ones. And the Chinese restaurants, that's what we order, versus the Italian restaurants where it can be a little bitter then. Here we also had General Tso chicken, and that was excellent. The breading was crisp, but very light. The sauce was sweet, had a little bit of pungent to it, a little high, spicy to it. But that was really, really good. I know everyone liked that. I know you did too, Izzy, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then we had the goat. Why don't you explain this one? This was it wasn't goat.
It was lamb.
Lamb.
It's
It
a
was
lamb stew.
They call it lamb stew.
But it's more like a broth. It's almost like it's a au jus, like a pot of lamb chopped up, and it's in this own au jus. And it was tender. It's a little bony, I have to say. Just have to watch out if you scoop up some of the juice, it might get some bones in it, so you have to be careful eating it. I think the flavor's right on. It's not salty. It's very lovely, but I would say that's my least favorite out of all of them.
It had yam noodles, mung.
Oh
noodles.
yeah, mung beans. It's like a glass noodles, but it's thicker, like a fettuccine cut kind of glass noodles. So it's very lovely. It's the bones part. I think it's the small bones that unless you're okay picking them out and you don't get choked on it. But otherwise, I think I would skip over that one.
Yeah, and then we also had hot and sour soup, very traditional. It was very cold when we went.
And it was really nice. Big portion. Oh, it was like $7, I think. It was like, I couldn't believe it. It was just the prices. And then, what else did we have? We had something else.
That was it, I thought.
Oh, yeah. I think
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Honey walnut shrimp.
Yep.
Yeah,
honey walnut shrimp. And again, how can I say it? Light breading, but crispy. Very nice sauce. It wasn't over mayonnaise. Sometimes it's awful. And just lovely. Now, all these dishes.
And it was crispy. It wasn't like tons of batter. It's really like minimal batter. So it's not like you eat a whole mouth of dough or they're overly soggy or anything like that. It's actually very nice.
Right. And we had, 6 dishes was like $63, like that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But very, very nice restaurant. Very small, but highly recommend if you don't have a lot of money and you want some good food.
If you happen to be in Irvine, that might be a place you want to try out.
It's called Hometown Restaurant, and the phone number is 949-651-6128. Get there early. Be prepared to wait.
It closes at 8 p.m.
Right.
And
they don't take reservations. Very small restaurant.
It's a walk-in. You put in your name. There's nowhere to literally sit inside the restaurant. It's so small. So you put in your name, you put it up, just walk outside and sit in your car or hang out outside and wait for them to call you.
Yeah, they have about 40 seats or so.
Yeah.
At the most,
but it's pretty much filled the entire time. This midweek. So
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Second restaurant we went to is called Awaze, Awaze. It's a European, what do they call it? Indo-Ethiopian restaurant, I think they call it. And
it's a Awaze Ethio Fusion and vegan restaurant.
And if you like Ethiopian food, it's fantastic. I think one of the best ones we've been to. If you've never had it before, it's a real treat. I swear, everyone we've taken there, and there's quite a few people, they loved it. They really, really liked it. It's a fun experience. The owners are very, very cordial people, very charming. They explain everything to you. And it's one where you eat with your hands, and you can get a sampling plate, and has all the different things on there. We had about 14 items, I think, total. And I think
it was a special platter, by the way. So people, if you show up there, you might not get 14 items.
Well, we asked for it.
But Allan gets, they know us enough where for you, we'll add some special items on there.
Well, it was a sampling item, a sampling plate with everything on there, enough
Plus
for 3 to 4
some.
people. And then we asked for other more extra meats
Yep.
and stuff on there.
Extra meat and vegetables.
But lots of food, and you eat with your hands. And the injera, it's kind of like a rubberized crepe, I call it.
It's
but
not rubberized.
sourdough.
It's very light and it's a crepe. It's airy, has holes in it. It's very light.
It's Ethiopian bread, basically. That's
Yeah,
what
but
they use.
they ferment it, themselves and roll it out themselves. So it tastes like sourdough. It's almost like a sourdough crepe with little holes on it. It's very light and fluffy. So it's very lovely. And their address is 18764 Pioneer Boulevard in Artesia. And their phone number is 562-263-6001. And it's called Awazi Ethio Fusion and Vegan Restaurant.
AWAZE.
Like Waze, but with the A in front of it. And then after dinner, where else do we go, Alan?
It's an ice cream right downstairs. It's called Saffron Ice Cream.
Saffron Spot.
Okay.
I think there's 2 of them in Artesia, supposedly. This is one location. They make their own ice cream.
With a twist, everything.
With a twist. And, if you like, chai latte, or you like that cardamom,
Cinnamon, saffron.
that kind of flavor.
Rose water.
I would recommend you go try this place. It's so unique. Their blends of flavor in their ice cream is very, very lovely. And it's just very, creamy, not overly sweet. They're 2 scoops is sufficient for 2 people, I think, to share. Unless you're, like one of those people, you love ice cream and you don't like to share ice cream, then you definitely get 2 scoops for yourself.
Right.
But their address still is 18744 Pioneer Boulevard, and it's on the first floor. It's called Saffron Spot. And they make other things like, I think other different desserts and drinks. They actually
kind of a Middle Eastern Indian twist.
Yeah, and then they juice their own fresh sugar cane. So it's very interesting spot.
And they give you free samples. That's amazing.
Yeah, they let you taste their gelato and their ice cream
as much
as you want. Decide what flavor you like, and they do have generic flavors like coffee and something that's very mild, like Kufi cream, which more like a sweet cream with the twist. Yeah, a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, it's so good. So yeah, definitely, it's called Saffron Spot.
And it's right in the same shopping center as Awazi.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never been to Artesia, it's an incredible ethnic eating spot. I mean, it's got everything: Middle Eastern, Indian, Korean, Chinese, what do you call it? Italian. It's got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Just one street, and you go down on Pioneer, and this couple of blocks, and you literally can hit all kinds of different food. It's really interesting.
Very, very, very fun time. So
yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about one of our sponsors, Ray's Shanghai Bistro, and they just moved, and wow, we were blown away. First of all, they were mobbed. This place is about 1,000 times bigger than it was.
Yeah, it was the second day they opened, and it was packed.
Right. It was a soft opening too, which was like, whoa. And they're really, really great food. It's definitely one of the premier Chinese restaurants in the Inland Empire.
And definitely authentic.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because all their cook don't even speak English, and they're all from China, I think. So that's what I think the owners told us. And they just have this huge menu now. Before, they have a very good size menu for a little space, and now that it's blown out size restaurant, it has banquet rooms, private banquet rooms, so you can actually hold your parties or meetings and different things and can be sectioned off in smaller rooms, bigger rooms, and there's plenty of space for that kind of thing. And they actually have a bar with their specialty drinks right in the middle of the restaurant.
And it's beer and wine.
Yeah, so it actually has 405 West Stewart Avenue. That's where they're located. It's 405 West Stewart Avenue in the Packing House Shopping Center. And their phone number is 909-674-0062. Once again, it's 909-674-0062. If you want to try out their food, good way to call them up, get a takeout, and then, and see how you like it.
It's a lovely restaurant, beautiful restaurant. So if you want to go on a date or you impress your mate, this is a good place to go.
It is. And it's just very airy. High ceilings, and the decor is very peaceful and lovely. And, it's just very modern. Right. So I think, it's one of those places you're not paying an arm and leg, but yet you get the royal treatment kind of feeling. Yeah.
Definitely.
And then some of the our favorite stuff. What is it, Alan?
Well, I like their crispy rib. It's spare ribs, but they bread it and deep fry it, and then they saute it and wok it, and oh
And
my
do it in
goodness.
garlic.
Yeah, it's delicious. And the hot and sour soup is probably my favorite hot and sour soup because it's got a heat to it. So at the end, it kind of hits your back, makes your mouth jump for joy.
He's jumping for joy right now. That's why he hit the mic. Yeah. And then I like their spicy lamb with bamboo or with cumin. I really enjoy that one. And also the deep fried orange peel beef.
That's so good.
Oh, so good. So tangy. It's crispy. I mean, it's just
it's
full
like orange
flavor.
chicken, but it's orange beef.
Yeah, but I think it's better. Like, if you like, one of our chains that tends to sell that stuff, that dish, I think this one would blow you out of the water. I mean, blow them out of the water because this is way, way, way better.
Yeah, well, all the food's much better. So.
Yeah, and then they make homemade pork soup dumplings. So like when you bite into these dumplings, this hot soup will gush out. It's like a little treat in itself. And they make their own pot stickers, homemade from scratch. I mean, who makes pot stickers from scratch? Literally, you can go to the store and buy a frozen one, right? Yeah. And their pot stickers are made from scratch and actually taste and their sauce is from scratch too. So it's really lovely. Yeah.
Very, very good. So again, the address is 405 West Stewart, Stuart Avenue in Redlands. And the phone number is 909-674-0062. And they're open Monday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. And it's Ray's, RUI''S, ShanghaiBistro.com. So, okay, I want to talk to you again. If you're trying to lose weight, trying to eat healthy, I want to give you some tips that I did a dining out guide for diabetes, a DVD. And a diabetic diet, after I did it, I realized a diabetic diet is basically a heart healthy and just a good way of eating. For those who are healthy, who want to eat healthy, that's what it's for. So, but these are some of the questions I've decided are probably the most important that people don't ask restaurants, and especially if you're on a diet or want to eat healthy. One is, how is a dish prepared? Ask them, how is it made? Is it pan fried or what? A lot of times they don't tell you. If they don't know, ask them to go back and find out. They should know, but a lot of them don't. What ingredients are used in the dish? That's important because some things have peanuts, some things have other items that you may not be able to eat, you'll be allergic to, but it's important to find out what it is. Third question I always ask is, can you make the dish without oil, butter, or cream? Sometimes they can, sometimes they can. If they can, that's all the better because we really don't need any of that, especially if you're with heart problems. Having had a heart problem before, I realized my fat intake, I guess, was a little bit too much, so my arteries got clogged. And butter and cream and oil, all that kind of stuff is not good for your arteries. So you got to be careful with that. The fourth thing is, can I substitute more steamed vegetables for, instead of carbs? So if it comes with mashed potatoes or pasta or anything, unless it's made where it's low carb pasta or anything, you can ask them, can you exchange it? That would be the best thing to do. Most places will do that.
And a lot of places do offer different, options to substitute the pasta with, like, squash. Now they do the zoodles, so it's like a zucchini noodle. So they basically use this probably machine to shave off the zucchini, so it's actually noodles. And I think it's very satisfying to me.
It's real good. I always
and you make it at home. Yeah. I know.
But I mean, if you can have it, but just take a small portion. They usually give you a lot of carbs because it's cheap normally, and they want to fill you up with that. So just eat a small portion of it. That's the main thing. Or ask for a very small portion in advance if you don't have any kind of willpower like me. Another thing to do you want to ask is, can you cook the dish, either poach it, steam it, broil it, grill it, or bake it, a dish that is normally fried. So a lot of times they can do that. Having a fried chicken might be a little difficult, but you can ask them anyway, can you boil it, broil it, grill it, bake it, steam it, or poach it instead of frying it. Sixth thing the questions I think is important to ask is, please put the sauces and dressings on the side. If you want sauces, have them, but have them on the side. So when you dip pieces of meat or fish or whatever into it, it's actually a lot less than just sopping it all up, especially if there's bread and everything else. So I would have that on the side.
Yeah, and they did studies. They said the parts of your tongue have different tastes, sensories that picks up certain flavors. And so if you dip something, actually the first flavor that hits your mouth would be the dipped sauce. So you don't need it drenched, and you save a lot of calories because in your mind you already got the satisfaction of that flavor, the flavor boost, and then the rest of kind of just blends right in. So you're kind of fooling yourself, your own body, that then save some calories that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. The other thing too, these in terms of tips and suggestions, number one is ask for half of your meal to be put in a takeout container before you get it. So instead of the whole meal in front of you, and most of us, they'll take forever to pick it up. So you just by nibbling it all the time, you use it all, and you wind up eating it. So the best thing to do is just ask for half of your meal in front of you, and then the other half they can put away.
Yeah, or if you have good willpower, just eat half. Stop at half.
Yeah, that's if you don't look at me, I don't have a good willpower. Oh, actually I do, but not all the time. Sometimes if something's really good, it's like, oh boy, look out! You don't even think. So you're listening to the Let's Sign Out show right here on AM 1050 and Express Radio 106.5 FM. The stations that leave no listener behind. So Let's Dine Out show. We're on every Saturday from 4 to 5. And if you go on to KCAAradio.com, look under the weekend shows and look under the Let's Dine Out show, and you can hear all our podcasts from all of our previous shows. Mm-hmm. Okay, back to tips and suggestions. Number 2, substitute a small appetizer for an entree. This is something that is so important, and there's a lot of restaurants where I look at, I mean, Izzy's been through this too, when most of the major items, regular entrees, they don't look that good. It was kind of like boring looking. However, the appetizers look really good. And a lot of times appetizers, they're not small like they're supposed to be. They're big portions, enough to split. So if you order like 2 or 3 good ones, that's as good as ordering a big meal.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And plus, you save so much money. I mean, like, usually appetizers aren't priced as high as an entree. So think about it. If it's even huge appetizer and you're by yourself, that can last you probably a couple of meals. Mm-hmm. I mean, that itself. So you really save some money, too. Not only calories, money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely.
Speaking of saving money, when you go for dinner, let's say you go for dinner, ask for a lunch-sized portion. See if you can buy that. Tell them, don't be ashamed to say that you're really watching your weight and you want to watch your calories. And can you have a lunchtime portion? A lot of them will do that. Some won't, but if they're smart, they will. But that's, it's important to ask. A lot of people don't even ask questions, and that's the thing that bothers me is then they complain. And don't complain. Ask questions first. Then if they don't do it, then you can complain. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 4, order sauces and dressings on the side. We kind of talked about that previously. Even salad dressings. I love salad dressings. Izzy doesn't, but I tend to overdo it on mine. So put them on the side, and it's perfect to dip it in there when you have small pieces of lettuce and stuff. I think that's really good. So that's important, and I think that's something we all should be doing. Another thing to do is eat slowly. Put your fork down between bites. A lot of people just woof it all down, and sometimes I've been accused of that, and my son's the worst. He eats so fast, and you want to savor what you eat, and plus it helps you when you deliver the food to your system. It tells your brain and your stomach that you're getting full. When you eat slower, you get full faster. It sounds crazy, but it really works. So definitely put your fork down and take each bite. Take a bite and savor it, and taste all the different intricacies of flavors and textures of it, and enjoy eating basically. Number 6. Bring your own favorite low-calorie products with you, like salad dressing or pancake syrup. I do that all the time. Ketchup, everything. Walden Farms has one product that's great. They make all kinds of salad dressings, barbecue sauces, ketchups, syrups, and stuff like that. The restaurants, sometimes they carry, sugar-free stuff, but it's not the best quality. Let's put it that way. It's cheap, so they serve it. So. But don't be afraid to bring your own dressings. I mean, you're paying for it anyway, and that's not a problem. So, again, if you want to do it, do it. Number 7, share a main entree with someone. So order a main entree and order a small appetizer if you want. But don't be ashamed to order that. And a lot of people think it's cheap, but if 2 people are trying to watch their weight but they want to eat good, why not? So you can do that. And like I said, order a couple drinks and You know, sometimes they may charge you to split a dish, so ask ahead of time or make sure it doesn't say that. But sometimes menus do say that. Has that ever happened to you where they charge you for it?
Yeah, I mean, and usually it's written on the menu. The ones that don't disclose it, then I do get a little irritated because they didn't disclose it ahead of time.
Right.
When you ask for a split dish, if they don't say anything, then I think there's room for argument there, personally. But yeah, I think even paying the extra couple of dollars, splitting a meal, is still cheaper than buying 2 entrees, and it's too much to eat.
Right.
So, and plus save
It's
calories
not just
again.
money, it's calories, exactly.
Yeah, and plus, think about it. If you want to enjoy this meal, maybe you want to go out again and do the same thing. It's basically you get 2 experiences for the price of one.
Well, we've done that grazing. We went to 3-4 different restaurants, ordered 1 or 2 things, and try different things, and it really works that way. Spread it, spread it out throughout the day. So
yeah, you just get to stretch your dollar farther,
Right.
further to different experiences.
right,
So.
I agree. Another great suggestion is drink 1 or 2 glasses of water before your meal. That really works. Again, it fills you up faster, and a lot of people drink, during the meal, which is fine. But I would definitely, if you want to really enjoy your meal, which that's what we want. That's why we go out to eat. If you have 1 or 2 glasses before, you'll eat a little bit less, which is good. But it makes
Plus, water is very good for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
It keeps you hydrated, keeps your skin moist. It really is very essential. I mean, I think a lot of people don't drink enough water. So that's why they have a lot of leg cramps and different things like that. It's all because of water, because our body really is mostly composed of water. So
And Izzy knows what she's talking about because it's usually me that she talks to. You got to drink more water. Because I have leg cramps all the time. So I agree with that.
Plus, it really does lubricate everything, your joints, your internal system. Even people say, oh, I can't go to the bathroom. I'm like, did you drink enough water? Because that's the first question. A lot of times it's because you're not hydrating your system, so there's nothing to lubricate.
Right.
So it's like Sahara Desert, nothing's moving, so.
Compare it to Sahara Desert. That's a good one.
Yeah, gritty and dry.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Another suggestion: order a small salad before your entree. Again, eat before your main entree. Eat something healthy and filling, and a salad can do that for you. If you're into wine and beer, it's okay to have it if you want to eat healthy or on a diet. For wine, about a 5-ounce glass is probably the best you can do, and beer is about 12 ounce. So just kind of watch how much or anything, but a nice little bottle of wine, a glass of wine rather, and bottle of beer is fine. It's no problem. Let's see. When you're ordering wine, usually a dry white wine and red wines are good choices. It's less sweet, and they usually are better for you in terms of healthiness. Let's see.
And get some water on the side.
Yeah, bubbly water. That's another thing.
Yeah.
We always ordered bubbly water, and it really, maybe it's in your head.
And you can put some, a twist of lemon, a twist of lime. You can ask for that. And it really does flavor up the water. It gives you satisfaction of getting something other than just plain old water if you're not a water drinker. And it does, give you the, tickly, sparkly things dance on your tongue kind of feeling. So, I mean, it does liven up the meal a little bit.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. Now, if you're into drinking light beers, again, bourbon, gin, rum, scotch, vodka, brandy, and whiskey contain the least amount of carbs. So any of those are good choices. Again, light beers, bourbon, gin, rum, scotch, vodka, brandy, and whiskey. They're the ones you want to have if you're going to drink. The last 2 other ones we have is one, carry a snack or like a glucose tablets with you, or hard candies. A lot of times when you're waiting for a restaurant, you're waiting and you start shaking, especially if you're diabetic. That's important to have some sugar with you. The worst scenario is ask them, tell them you're diabetic, you're getting a little shaky. Can you get some order half a glass of Coke or something? And every time I've done that, they've given it to me. They've never come charge me or anything for it. So if you need to do that. And then probably the most important thing of dining out is portion control. It's not what you eat, but it's how much you eat. Basically, you could eat everything. However, it's all portioned. You got to have small portions. And the way the portion control is you look at a plate. Half the plate should be good vegetables, steamed vegetables, maybe sauteed a little bit, but good vegetables. That's what you want. A third of the plate should be about a hand size worth of carbs. So it could be pasta, rice, or whatever. About a cup is usually what it is, but not more than that.
It's a fist, no? I thought.
Well, yeah, but everybody's fist is different. Like I wish I had Shaquille O'Neal fist, but yeah, normally if is a fist, especially with meat and stuff, that's how much meat you should have. So measure your wrist and your hands, I should say.
Well, but people's hands, they include their fingers.
Right.
Are you talking about the palm size?
The palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just the palm. We're not talking about the fingers. So, don't say Allan said to get the hand. It's like, nope, just the palm. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's not that big.
3 to 4 ounces is usually the right size. You have big hands, then you can eat more.
Yeah, Joe is like, hey, I got big hands. I get more
10,000
food.
pounds of meat. But, but to be realistic, if you belong to a medical plan, which I think most people do, see if you can go to a dietitian. There's a lot of great dietitians out there. And I would definitely go there and find out how much can you eat. A good example was when I was diagnosed as diabetic. I read, lecture, and I thought I knew it all. And the first restaurant I went to was a Mexican restaurant, and a basket of chips. I went through all my mind. I don't remember reading about that. So I figured it must be okay. So I must have had 3 baskets of chips. I mean, I'm stupid. What can I say? But it's true. You can have chips, but 7 big chips equal 1 portion of carbs. So if you're allowed 3 or 4 carbs portions per meal, you're fine with that. But it's when you go and have chips, like a Mexican restaurant, chips and beans and rice and tamales and tortillas all that stuff is carb. So it's really important to go out and go get an evaluation from your doctor, but dietitian more than anything. If you have plans, they'll be for free. And I think doctors love that because you're taking care of yourself. You're enabling yourself and trying to stay away from trouble, from problems with heart and diabetes. So
Well, and plus, you think about it, your body is what you put in is what you get out of it, right? So if you put not so great, not so healthy food, then your body's not going to probably react just as, not go work functioning 100% like most, other good quality, full of vitamin, nutrient-rich foods,
Right.
So that's really important.
Right.
Yep.
Also, if you look on your menu, very last thing is different cooking techniques. If it says steamed, grilled, barbecued, roasted, poached, broiled, baked, stewed, or smoked, it's probably a good bet that you can have that versus fried or smothered or anything like that. You got to really watch it. So, but those are the good ones. Now, next week, we're going to go over healthy options in terms of when you go out to Mexican restaurant, American restaurant, Chinese food, and Italian food.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So
I can't wait.
get a lot of choices. And
Boy, talk about a cliffhanger there.
well, it's funny when I was diagnosed. I wish I would have had someone to tell me what I'm telling you guys out there, and that's why I did the DVD on dining out with diabetes. But what you eat is very important. It's also how much, but also the importance of eating, and it also applies to if you have pets. I mean, there's some cheap dog foods. You go to a real high-end dog food place. It's amazing how many different dog foods out there, and trying to pick foods for them. I know Izzy's. I mean, she's got 3, and I had 3, and picked ones. Everyone likes different things, and so it's really hard to figure out what to order. So on the phone here we have Joel Silverman, who's a celebrity dog trainer and former host of Animal Planet's Good Dog You. Welcome to Let's Sign Out, Joel.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. We're both dog lovers, but when I saw having someone like you on, I think it's important because the average person, they don't know what kind of dog food they buy. They buy a lot of times they'll buy cheap stuff, which is garbage because it's mostly fillers. That's not real good for you.
Good for the dog, not for us.
Right. And then the other thing is a lot of times it shows what's good for us, but not to the dog. It's all in marketing. And but why don't you introduce yourself and talk about one of the companies that you work with is Build Jack, which we're very familiar with and love their products.
Yeah, a lot of people know me from Animal Planet's Good Dog You. I was, I think more recently, I was featured in a Chase Bank commercial playing myself about 7 years ago with my bunch of dogs rolling over, my dog Duchess and stuff like
cool.
that. So, and then, I've been, I did a video called the Hollywood Dog Training Program about 1990, and I sold about 500,000 copies of those. And that's actually back when I was doing the TV series Empty Nest. I grew up as a Hollywood animal trainer. I met Bob Kelly, who's the president of Bill Jack. And right about the time I did that video, I had met Bob. And since that time, I've been feeding the food. And it's been well over 30 years now.
Wow.
And I didn't understand, even as an animal trainer, I really didn't understand the importance of a good dog food or getting your puppy up on the right track and things like that. So Bob explained to me, and he explained that not all foods are the same. And he said that the one thing he said that made a lot of sense to me was the way they had processed the food. He says, a lot of these big companies, they have to do it, really where they have to do a lot of food, so they're doing it at higher temperatures. And you have to remember that dog food is primarily made of proteins, and if you're doing the proteins at higher temperatures, there is a chance of you diminish those proteins. And so what Bill Jack did was they created a way of using cooking at low temperatures and small amounts of food in at lower temperatures.
Right.
And that's what they do to this day. And that made a lot of sense to me because that keeps the food fresher. And so, I always tell people out there, there are a lot of different foods out there to try and things like that. Obviously, there are a lot of, it's a lot different than it was 30 years ago, certainly with all the dog foods that are out there. But like you said, and I was listening to you real briefly before talking more about about eating and stuff like that for ourselves. And it's the same way as a dog, and they can't make, they rely on us to make those decisions for them. And you certainly, just like you said, you don't want to. You want to give yourself the best quality of food, and your dog deserves to have the best quality of food as well.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the ingredients not to look for? Like chicken. There's a lot of. I talk to people about feeding dogs with chicken, and then they say no, you stay away from chicken, stay away from grains. So it's kind of confusing, and some say it's okay, some say it's don't. Help.
Yeah, we tell people all the time. I tell people all the time. It's like us. Everybody's. A good example is my wife has autoimmune issues. Okay, most people will tell you it's like don't have any grains. Okay, don't have any grains, don't have any beans, don't have any. Every time she does that, she goes all protein and vegetables. That's when she's not feeling well. Mm-hmm. So she's got to go and bring in grains. For her, it's not to say that that's the way with everybody, but everybody. These doctors you go to, the first thing he goes, okay, take out all the grains. Well, that might be fine for certain people, not right for her. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's the same way with your dog. And that's why Bill Jack uses, they use chicken in their food. And people need to also understand a little bit about, sometimes when people talk a little bit about, allergies and things like that. And you need to understand that they've determined only about 0.2% of dogs were affected by actual food allergies, according to their 2018 State of Pet Health Report.
Wow.
So, which means it is more likely that dogs who show signs of inconsistent or consistent upset stomach or itching and things like that, or simply being sensitive, might have a food intolerance and sensitivity, and not necessarily a food allergy. So it's really important for everybody to understand that. That was a 2018 State of Pet Health report. Really super important for people to understand that, though.
Now, what make if we have a dog that's super picky eater, what can a pet parent do? Because that's when I see personally, because I don't believe in feeding a lot of people food or scraps or whatever, but I see people tend to start buying things off, like their own food and give it to the dog.
First of all, it's a great question, and the second thing is what you do is exactly what people should do. And that is, first of all, you need to have a blend. You need to be consistent. And when I say be consistent, it's when people like yourself is basically saying, when you're saying to the dog, hey, you know what, you're going to get dog food, but you don't get people food. I'm not going to associate myself with food. Okay? Mm-hmm. Human food. Okay? Now, treats are a whole different story when we get working dog for treats. Mm-hmm. But if everybody does what you do, it's going to be fine. But if 8 people do what you do and the ninth person decides to give them some human food, now what you've done is you've created confusion.
Right.
So what I tell people is everybody needs to be consistent, and you need to have that game plan. You also need to understand if your dog is very picky. There are, is he a wet food or dry food eater? Maybe a little bit of wet food in the dry food might help the dog as well. Let's say, for example, you'd rather feed dry food. You're like, but hey, if I give him a tablespoon of this wet food that I like, and I put it in with the dry food and just add a little bit of water in there and mix it up, it basically gets the dog to eat it. And, it's something that you can do on a temporary basis, and then eventually start fading out that tablespoon or teaspoon can turn into half a teaspoon or half a tablespoon and a quarter, eventually a quarter. Little things like that. But what she said was absolutely, right on, and you want to keep the dog food and the people food separate. Right. Huge part.
Now, the one dog we had really stomach problems, so we started giving it to a pumpkin, and that really helped too. And that's another small thing that people can do is safely. But pumpkin, I think. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of holistic type things that are out there, and I tell people just be careful. Just make sure that you're doing something or you're giving dogs something that dogs can tolerate and stuff. Their stomachs can tolerate and things, and that something's okay for dogs. And we all know, the story. Onions, grapes, those are all things that can be, toxic to dogs. Chocolate, especially darker chocolate, those are all things that can be very, very toxic. And I tell people what they might even want to do is just Google, things that are toxic for your dog. I mean, really, I don't just Google for everything, but in that situation, they're going to come up with a lot of things that are out there, and those are all good things. Those are all because people seem to start, coming up with, there are new things that come out there. You're like, oh, I didn't know that. We didn't know that before. So I think before, when I was growing up as a dog trainer as a kid, it was chocolate. That was it. But all of a sudden it became onions, and it became, a bunch of other, grapes, and other things. Mm-hmm. Right, I agree.
I remember that too, because when I was younger, my first dog, they were saying, oh, they have skin issue. Get the dog food that has avocado in it. And, now it's like, oh, no, don't give your dog avocado. So, things have changed and evolved. And I think as science get, and more research being done, yeah.
Yeah, and just one more thing, just to finish up on the whole picky thing, and that is when you find a dog food that your dog likes, because what a lot of people do is they try to change, and it's like, well, if the dog didn't like it, so I'm going to give it, try this one.
Yeah, no.
When the dog becomes consistent on a food for a little bit, stick with it. If you're trying a certain food and going to try a food, and your dog is consistent, it's a premium food your dog likes, stick with that food. Keep your dog on it. Don't keep going back and forth, because that's when it becomes just a ton of confusion to your dog. Really super important. Bill Jack has a food called Bill Jack Picky No More, and basically what it is, Bill Jack's base is of course chicken, but they use real chicken liver in that particular food, and the treats they use, which is I'm a Hollywood animal trainer. A lot of Hollywood animal trainers in Hollywood still use a lot of those Bill Jack treats. They're made from chicken liver. So what they do is they take that chicken liver from those treats, and some of that food that is what's used in the Bill Jack Picky No More food.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, the ingredients in Bill Jack is incredible, and again, it's not just a process how they make it, but the ingredients used. And now their website is Bill Jack, BIL-Jack, JAC at BillJack.com. I'm sorry. So it's BIL-JAC.com, and you can get it everywhere. They're on Facebook. Let's see, they're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. And in terms of getting a hold of you, what's the best way? It's joelsilverman.net?
Yeah, joelsilverman.net is my website. You can always go there. And actually, you guys are in L.A., right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm from Southern California.
Yeah,
I'm from Los Angeles.
We're in Redlands, not too far.
Oh, Redlands. Oh, okay. Oh, you're Redlands. Okay. I'm from Orange County.
Oh, okay. We're neighbors.
I lived in Mission Viejo for many, many years before I moved to Reno.
Oh, cool.
But they can go to joelsilverman.net, and also feel free to register on my website for free. There's videos, all kinds of training videos. Doesn't cost a penny at all. Just register for free, and it's got all the behaviors, all the movie animal behaviors: sit, stay, lie down, come, heel, go to a place, play dead.
Wow.
Sit up, bow, all these different behaviors and things. And so we decided to, instead of doing a new DVD, we're like, let's just put it on the website and let people register for free and play the videos. So
fantastic. No, definitely. Let's have you on just talking about that. I think that would be important because
Oh yeah, you guys, anything on training? Seriously, this is it's great. I love talking about food because Bill Jack, my relationship with Bill Jack is based on so many different things. But anything you guys want to talk about, the training, you just let me know.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll go on your website. I'm sure we'll be able to get a hold of you on there.
You got it, guys.
So, cool. Anything else you want to talk about, Bill Jack? I know for sure the treats when we had them. We give them to the dogs. They love the treats. They're very picky about others, but Bill Jack's treats are amazing. They love those.
Well, yeah. One thing about the treats, you guys, I tell people that I find myself, initially when Bill Jack first came out with his treats, there was like a milk carton, and it was the larger Bill Jack treats. That was all they had.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have anything else. And over the course of time, they started to create some different treats. One of which is called Little Jacks. Little Jacks are about a third the size of a Bill Jack treat.
Mm-hmm.
And those Little Jacks I like a lot because I found myself constantly breaking up the larger treats in like thirds to feed the dog. So Little Jacks are ones I highly recommend, and they come in large batches as well. So that's my favorite.
Wow, that's great. So, well, Joel, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and we'll definitely have you on talking about dog behaviors, and we've been through everything with ours between 6 dogs that we've had, so we can talk about that. Oh,
that's great. Well, I'd love to hear you guys' stories.
Oh, great. We'll definitely give you a call.
All right, you guys. Hey,
thanks,
Joe. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what a good guy. And, we're big fans of Bill Jackson. Again, we've had him before on, and they were nice enough to send us some samples, and our dogs went nuts over them. I've never seen dogs eat so quick.
I think, I like their products to do training because they're so convenient, and even for Little Jacks, my little one is only 3 pounds, actually, a little bit 2.5 or whatever. So what I do is I even half and quarter those, and it makes it last longer, and she's just as willing, and she can do every trick underneath the sun just so that she'll get that treat. So
you just mentioned treat. Her ears go up, she jumps down, and she's ready, and she'll do anything.
Yep. And, like if it's a food motivated dog, and most dogs are, I would say about 95% dogs are food motivated. There are a few that are not food motivated, but there are like a toy motivated, like a squeaky toy or a ball or something like that. You can always use that as a training tool. But like I said, most dogs are treat motivated. They're food motivated.
Well, we had one, Daisy, and she was kind of a little problem. She wouldn't listen or anything. But once she learned, again, thanks to Izzy, about treats, man, oh man, she would do anything for treats.
Mm-hmm.
She'd lay down. She'd do everything.
Yeah.
So it does work. So, okay, before we go, I want to let you know about one of our sponsors, too. And this is so important because we almost had a problem with our car. We heard a big smash, and luckily nothing was wrong with it, but one of our windows got hit by a rock on a freeway. And it brings me back to thinking about last time I did that when I broke it. And also I had problems where I was rear-ended. Mm-hmm. And we went to All Magic Paint and Body. Mm-hmm. And they're a family-owned body shop that offers state-of-the-art equipment and tools to ensure optimum results. They use the latest technology, computerized color matching, specialize in frame and repairs with their modern laser measuring system, and they're OEM certified, which is very important. All Magic Paint and Body offers rental car assistance, which means free drop-offs and pickup services at their dealer there, so you don't have to worry about getting a rental car. They'll take care of that for you. And best of all, their work is lifetime guarantee. That's pretty amazing. All Magic Paint and Body collision centers are located in Norco, Eastvale, Moreno Valley, and in Fontana. And you can visit them at allmagicauto.com. That's allmagicauto.com. And again, as a food critic, if I like food, you will too. If I like something, and it goes with this too, if I don't like them, I wouldn't have them as a sponsor. And I use them, and I'm very, very happy with their work. The other thing that was really nice is throughout the whole 2 weeks they had the car, they called me almost every day to tell me about the parts that hasn't come in yet, but they're checking on it. So they keep you advised of the whole time. Very friendly staff. So again, all Magic Body and Paint and Collision Centers. And if you go to the website, allmagicauto.com. Whew. It's a lot of talking today.
Well, and thanks to them, that's why we have the show. So our sponsors are not only somebody we go to, we actually are their customers. They do support our show to be here so that we can share what we found out or what we discover with you guys out there.
Yeah, if we like it, you're going to like it. That's the main thing. And unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that have come to me wanting to be sponsored on the show, and I just don't like them for whatever reason. So if I don't like them, it's not about money for me or anything. It's basically helping us keep it on the air, but more importantly, it's my credibility and Izzy's credibility, and that's important. So, great sponsors, All Magic Paint and Body, and also Ray's Shanghai Bistro.
Italian, huh?
I said Italian. I'm still thinking about pizza show, 2 weeks ago?
And Alan's been obsessed with pizza. After 96 pizzas, judging them, and tasting them within 2 days, plus sandwiches, he's still thinking about pizza. He's dreaming pizza. He's thinking about pizza. He's looking at pizzas. It's crazy.
Well, without a doubt, if I was younger, I would love to open up a pizzeria and learn the intricacies of pizzas. I think when I was younger, pizzas were pizzas, nothing major. Now it's a work of art. Now it's like a badge of courage and of honor to make pizzas. I mean, even you, as you've tried making them, and you're in tune to it so much. You want to make yours perfect too.
Yeah, I really enjoy the science behind it. I really enjoy being educated, and just the challenge. I mean, I think having a dough, it's challenging. I mean, it challenges you to perfect it. Every time you think you perfected it, you can always tweak it, make it better.
And every dough is different for every style of cooking.
And every day is different. Different humidity, different temperature. All that changes everything.
So we're going to have different people on talking about some great pizza ovens. You can buy residential pizza ovens, for $400, $500. And what else are we going to be doing? Just a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, we love making things, so it's really fun to share it with you guys. So stay tuned, and if you have any products you like and like to share with us, let us know.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me on Facebook. It's just Allan Borgen or Let's Dine Out Show. I'm on Instagram as Allan.Borgen. And anyway, we'll get a hold of you. If you want to email me, my email address is Mr. M.R. Foodie, Foodie, the number 1, @outlook.com, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Also, we're going to have some grub clubs coming up. I'm working on it in the next couple of weeks. We should have them solidified, and it's going to be the largest dining out club that we had. We're doing it again in the Inland Empire. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. A lot of people are, so
Yeah.
Be good. So anyway, until next week, food critic Allan Borgen.
And Izzy Bussey.
We'll see you next Saturday at 4 o'clock.
Lock them in for more information, recreation, and